Hey, good morning. I thought I would show you guys where to find prompts besides the ones that I already shared with you guys, and actually show you how to pick apart an argument prompt. We haven't done it in a while, so I wanted to kind of revamp that, as that's kind of where we're going with the resources from College Board. So if you go to collegeboard.org, this is what you would see. You can log in, you don't have to access what I'm going to be showing you. So you can go down here to AP and go to AP Students and click on that, because you're an AP student. And then you can go up here to Courses and Exams, click on that. Their website's not the most streamlined, but whatever, we'll deal with it. Go down to English and go to AP English Language and Comp. Make sure you don't go to Literature and Comp. The names look very similar. It's the top one is the one you want. Then we click Go to Course. This would be helpful to bookmark at this point, add it to your stuff, so I'm going to actually do that with mine. And I want it on the bar up there so it's easy for me to find again. Okay. So you'll scroll past about the course, what we're all about. Exam dates, of course, are not valid anymore. You want to go to the press releases about everything that's changed. But Mr. Weeks and I have really kind of used bits and pieces of these units they have. This is the first year they've rolled out these units, so we just wanted to try out some of the stuff. So we really did do a lot with like units 1 through 3. And then we kind of skipped down to like rhetorical analysis with 6 and 7, and then we were going to bounce back to 4 and 5 a bit more. So that's the part that you're kind of missing a little bit, which is really working on writing some arguments. And so you've still been doing a lot of writing, so I'm not too worried about that, but you probably need some reviews on the parts of arguments and what they're looking for. So keep going, scrolling. What we're looking for is not there. Where is it? Sorry, I always mess up where everything is on this thing because they change it all the time. Oh, I'm sorry. So that was all about the course. We want this tab here. See that tab that pops up? It's also right here about the exam. All right, click that. So we went to about the exam and more information. Some of it I already shared in class, like about how the test is broken up. Now they're changing this because of all the school shutdowns. So keep paying attention to the emails I'm sending and the information on Canvas that I'm posting to make sure that you have the most up-to-date information. It sounds like, well, we know for sure they're getting rid of the multiple choice this year. And it's all going to be free response. Apparently, I've heard rumors that they sent a survey out to students, and most of them prefer to have free response measure their ability in the course. I'm assuming it's going to be one prompt because it's only 45 minutes instead of 2 hours and 15 minutes, because normally you do 3 questions in that time. It's pretty standard for one question to be around 40 minutes. Remember the suggested time on the prompts? So that's where I'm getting that. I'm assuming a lot there. College Board hasn't said that specifically. So I'm going to assume they're going to pick one of the writing types and that's what you're going to get. I'm leaning towards thinking it's probably going to be a rhetorical analysis or an argument. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to suggest you guys go back to argument and practice some argument right now. In AP Classroom, I did assign you some practice questions. There were 2 FRQs. They don't require you to write the whole essay, only part of the essay. Really just like the thesis and the evidence to support it and your explanation for that evidence, but not like fleshing out the whole paper. Because they're from units 2 and 3, Mr. Weeks and I decided we thought that would be beneficial to just go back and kind of get a refresher on the basic structure and practicing that before we jump back into full essays. You're welcome to write a whole one, I guess, if you want, but that's what we're really focusing on. So right down here is what we're really looking for. This is the archive of all the past FRQ questions. So you just click the little thing, or you can click on the name of whichever you want to do, and you can get to the free response questions. I sent you guys links to the specific ones. So I'll explain a few things about this page. It obviously has the year and it has the questions here. When you click on this, it'll be a PDF. The order that these go in, at least for these years, is that question 1 is synthesis, where you're given several sources and you write an argument using evidence from at least 3 of those sources. Then there is question 2, which is usually the rhetorical analysis one, where they give you a passage and you need to analyze it, how the writer wrote it, for what purpose, and really analyzing that. We've been working on that a lot, so I hope you feel comfortable with that and kind of know how to explain what a writer is doing. And then the third question is argument. If you go back far enough in these, there are going to be some where question 3 is different, and it's all a lot more rhetorical analysis. This exam used to have a lot more rhetorical analysis involved in it, and it's changed over the years. So just be careful if you go back really far on the free response questions, that you just pay attention to that and don't get confused. It has the old scoring guidelines, so these are not the newer ones. On the previous page, it had the current scoring guidelines, but it's still interesting to look at. Besides looking at the questions themselves that are PDFs, they also have PDFs of student sample responses, actual student responses. I've shown you guys some of these. So when you do that, it has the actual handwritten responses from students. It includes the question, it includes the rubric that we used to use, that's the old rubric, but here's the student sample. Since the beginning of American history, a conflict has arisen over the idea of eminent domain or the ability of the government to take control of privately owned land. Okay, so it has like, and they label which student response it is. So this is student response 1A. And then you'll see a little hashtag mark, what we used to call a number sign. Or we used to call it pound actually back in the day. But you'll see that means it's the end of that student's writing, the end of the page. So then we know this is the next one. It's also labeled 1B, and you could read that student's writing, see how they put it together, and then there's the end of their response. So you always get 3. Sometimes you get 3 that are all passable essays. Sometimes you get a high, mid, and a low. It just depends on the year and what they did. So that's what those have. What's really nice is you can also look at the scoring distributions. This one, I don't know why I didn't open a new window like before. I'm not gonna look at that, I don't care about that. Oh, that's just telling you the distributions across the board, never mind. That's not what I thought it was. What they usually have is the actual scores that those ones received, but it looks like this is just the rubrics, so I'm not sure what they were doing there. I'm gonna click it one more time just to double check that it wasn't there and I missed it. What they usually have is some explanation. Oh, there they are. I just didn't go far enough. Okay, so there they are. At the end of the samples, they go over kind of some background on the question. Then they're telling you which sample got which score. And I'll just let you know on the old rubric, a 4 wouldn't have been really passable. You have to get at least a 5 or higher. They really wanted to be scoring to get a passing score on the exam as a whole. You know, you want 6s and above. 8 is really, really strong. 8s and 9s were incredibly difficult to get. Just like now with the new rubric, a 6 is really hard to get. Wow, that's crazy. Nice. All right. So that's kind of working your way around all of these, what it does. So this will open up the actual questions. These are student samples with explanations for why they got the score they did, which is, again, I think really helpful. So what I would do if I were you and you just want to practice something, I would come in and just look at one of the questions, try it out and see if it works, see if it's something that you know, you can just start to understand. So that's the end of this video. My next video is going to pick up right from here, where I'm going to actually take one of the prompts and work through the prompt. So see you in another video.